Hey guys, it's Margaret, and I'm back for another episode of 17's Plan With Me series. There is an endless amount of information that you can record in your bullet journal. And oftentimes, because there's so much information, I have a tough time deciding how to organize and divide the space. So today I have 20 different dividers that will help you stay organized and make your bullet journal super easy to use. The great thing about dividers is that you can turn any illustration into one, and you can use them on any spread in your bullet journal. So monthly, weekly, habit trackers, you name it, you can use a divider in there. We're just about ready to get started, but before we do, make sure you subscribe to 17's YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on any of our future bullet journaling tips and tricks. All right, let's go. The first divider I'm going to use is a leaf pattern, and you've probably seen me use it if you've watched any of my previous bullet journaling videos. The first thing I did was draw a long horizontal wavy line. Then I drew leaves on either side of the wavy line by drawing small little ovals. To finish this off, I colored them in using a lime green marker. This divider is great for so many reasons, and one of those is that you can use it for more than just floral-themed bullet journal setups. It's great for all bullet journaling themes due to its simplicity. For this divider, I'll be creating a basic string of flags. There are an endless amount of ways you can take the basic structure of this divider and make it work for all bullet journaling themes. To start, I drew a long, horizontal, wavy line, finishing off the ends with an open circle. I added pins to the line and triangular flags all along the horizontal wavy line. To finish off this divider, I added scallops around each of the flags and colored the flags in using a light pink marker. I really feel like the scallops around the flags make the divider a little bit more feminine, but if you're not into that and you just want to keep the divider minimal, feel free to take them off or do whatever you want to the flags to make it your own. Moving on to our third divider, I'll be making a string of bows. To begin, I drew several bows about 4 boxes apart horizontally across the page. I connected each of the bows with a curved line to make it look like the bows are strung together. I finished off this divider design by highlighting the bows and strings connecting them. It's simple, it's easy, and it's minimal. What more could you ask for from a divider? Remember when I told you that you could make a divider out of literally anything? Well, I was not joking. For this fourth divider, I'm making it out of a mountain range. First, I drew the mountains by simply drawing several bottomless triangles. Then, I drew a squiggly line in each of the mountains to look like they are covered in snow. I finished off this divider by adding clouds and coloring in the mountaintops with a light blue marker. Number 5 is dedicated to leaves because it's fall and I'm really feeling this weather. The first thing I did to start was draw a regular leaf with a line through the center and circles on either side. Then, I drew a leaf next to it that is upside down and has scalloped edges. The last leaf in the set is right side up and is created from a single curved line and circles on either side of the line. I repeated this set several times and colored in each of the leaves with a different color. We're on to number 6, which is dedicated to my love of books. I'm basically just gonna take a bookshelf and stretch it all the way across the page. To begin, I drew 2 horizontal lines that span the width of the page. I connected them and filled them in with small dashes. Then I drew books of various shapes, sizes, and angles all along the bookshelf. I colored in each book with a different color and gave each a unique spine detail. If you've been keeping up with all of my previous bullet journaling videos, you know that I absolutely love clouds. They're so easy and therapeutic to draw, which is why I could not leave them out of this divider collection. So number 7 is dedicated to clouds. I simply drew a string of clouds across the page, but made sure to not leave any open spaces. To do this, make sure you overlap all of the clouds. To finish this divider off, I colored them in using a blue marker. How easy was that? Okay, moving on to number 8, I'm going to hang hearts from a string that stretches across the page. First, I drew a wavy horizontal line with 2 open circles at either end. Then, I drew vertical lines of varying lengths coming from the wavy banner. At the end of each vertical line, I drew a heart and colored it in using a bright pink marker. Hanging the hearts from a banner is an easy way to upgrade any divider from a simple string of hearts. Of course, I had to include flowers in at least one divider design since they're so universal and work for so many different themes. To begin this divider, I first drew several daisies about 8 boxes apart from each other. To the left of each daisy, I drew a petunia, and to the left of the petunia, I drew several scalloped flowers. In the remaining space, I drew a pair of leaves. I colored in all of the flowers to finish off this design. I'm halfway through my divider designs as we roll up to number 10, which I've devoted to planets. I started by drawing 4 large planets an equal distance from each other. I gave each a unique design by varying the number of rings each has and adding craters and patterns to the planets. In between each large planet, I drew smaller asteroids and circles to represent debris. I colored in everything using light blue, lime green, yellow, and coral markers. Divider number 11 is great for doodlers of all skill levels. I'll be walking you through step by step how to draw paper airplanes. I drew several paper airplanes about 6 boxes apart from each other and facing different directions. To draw the paper airplanes, draw a tall triangle and a line down the center. I connected each with a wavy dashed line. Color in each of the airplanes with a light blue marker. Moving along to number 12, I'll be using arrows to create a divider. You're going to draw an arrow with a black tip at the front and diagonal lines at the back of the arrow. I repeated the arrow several times to span the width of my bujo page. This is a really quick, easy design to break up tons of information that you have recorded in your bullet journal. Okay, so we've reached number 13 in our divider collection, which is going to be a little bit more abstract than all of our previous dividers. I began by drawing a long horizontal line, finished off with open circles on either end of the line. Then I drew a whole bunch of vertical lines across the line, making sure they all intersect the line in the middle. I finished off all of the vertical lines with open circles on the bottom and top, and colored in all of the circles with an indigo marker. For number 14, I'm going to be using a similar design as the mountain divider, but instead of using mountains, I'm actually going to use hills and trees. First, I drew several arced lines across the page that overlap in several spots. I added several trees all throughout the hills by simply drawing a vertical line and diagonal dashes to represent the branches. I added a little bit of detail in the hills by adding small dots. I colored in the hills using a lime green marker and highlighted the trees with a dark green marker. I finished off this divider by taking a light blue marker and adding some clouds behind the trees. I absolutely love how this divider turned out, and I cannot wait to use it in my future nature-themed spreads. Number 15 will feature a cute little butterfly. And to begin, I drew a curly line across the page. To the right of the line, I drew a little butterfly and colored it in using 2 different purple markers. I also highlighted the line with a light purple marker and added some dark purple dots along it. I know summer's over, but that doesn't mean it can't live on in our bullet journals, which is why I dedicated this next divider to the beach. First, I drew a classic scalloped clamshell, and next to it, I drew a basic conch shell. I repeated these 2 shells all across the page and colored in each using 2 different yellow markers and a coral color for the inside of the conch shell. There are a million different flowers and ways you can incorporate flowers into your divider designs, but for this one, I'm using roses. To start, I drew 3 large roses all across the page, leaving an equal amount of distance between each. I then gave each rose 2 leaves on the left and 1 leaf on the right. I added some dots in between each of the roses and colored everything in using lime green and lilac purple markers. For number 18, I'm going to show you guys how to draw pendants that you can use to create a divider design. To begin, I drew several half circles across the page and gave each a scalloped bottom edge. In between each of the pendants, I drew small hearts and colored them in with a bright pink marker. I finished off this divider by coloring in the pendants with lilac purple and bright pink markers. This design is great because it can be easily changed to fit a different theme. So if you want a more minimal design, you can simply get rid of the scalloped edges and replace the hearts with dots or circles. The possibilities are really endless for this design. Fruit has always been one of my favorite things to draw, so I knew I wanted to include them in a divider design. Which brings me to a helpful tip. If there's anything that you guys love to draw, you can incorporate that element into a divider design. For a header number 19, I started by drawing pairs of 2 lemon slices in equal distance from each other. To the left of the lemon slices, I drew an apple and a watermelon slice. I filled in the remaining gaps with circles and dots. I colored in each of the fruits with yellow, bright pink, lime green, and a muted red marker. This last design uses more hearts because you can never have enough love in your bullet journal, but this time I'll be stringing the hearts together using only 1 line. I took my micron pen and started on the left-hand side of the page. I started drawing a line and then drew a heart, making sure to continue drawing the line once I finished. The key to this design is to never lift up your pen to ensure that the hearts look as though they are strung together using only 1 line. I then colored in the hearts with a bright pink marker. And there you have it, 20 fun and unique dividers that will spice up any page in your bujo. I really hope this video left you with tons of inspiration and motivation to keep your pages organized using dividers. But before you go, I want to know which divider design you're going to be using in your bullet journal, so make sure to comment below. As always, make sure you subscribe to 17's YouTube channel so that you can catch more of our organizational and creative tips and tricks. See you next week.